Shalom again, and we are back. And our subject matter today is cults. Cult-like characteristics and cult-like behavior. And we'd like to mention again that this is a very profound subject in the particular country we're in, Israel. And in Israel today, we have been informed that there are 108 cults that have been identified at this point. So these characteristics and these behaviors, you need to pay attention to them. You might find yourself in a cult, or you may be in one and not know it.
Or have a family member.
Okay, I want to make this ninth point, and this is very serious. Cult members are isolated from the outside world and any reality testing it could provide. I want to say this about isolation. It doesn't limit itself, or it's not limited to simply physical isolation. The isolation of ideas and the isolation that can be created by allowing one to take your mind and cause you to judge everything that everyone else does that doesn't do what you do. And you are being convinced that anyone who doesn't do and follow what you do and believe is negative, bad, deceptive, the devil, however you want to characterize them. That is also an isolation effect. And I wanted to point out that the psychological processes of guilt creation, which we've already discussed, are all fear-based. Those psychological processes where we are made as members to feel guilty about what we do and do not do, do and do not wear. These are fear-based types of teachings and thought processes that the leadership utilizes, knowing that it is the fear that allows them to manipulate others, that allows them to cause others to be isolated in their thinking, be isolated in their activities, out of fear and out of guilt. So if fear and guilt are a large part of what's going on wherever you are number one, isolated, and number two, very probably being involved in some cult-like behavioral characteristics.
This is true. Okay. Now point number 10 is cults are anti-woman, anti-child, and anti-family. Now that's saying a lot, and I could talk about this all day long. First, I'd just like to say that any particular organization, religion, dogma that separates you from your biological family is inherently wrong. And that's a strong word to say wrong, but the only time you should be separated from your biological family is if your life is in danger, or that family is dysfunctional, and the social system that's been set up for you and the legal systems that's been set up for you has determined that that is a totally dysfunctional family. Outside of that, anyone that's coming to you and telling you that your mother is evil or wicked, your father is evil or wicked, and you should separate yourself from them and go live in a separate type of society, all of the bells and whistles and alarms should go off in your head.
Because or that your children are evil or wicked.
Yes, this is inherently wrong. This is your biological family, a unit that is supposed to be the most trusted and cherished unit in your life. Okay, so your biological family is our family members that are generally going to look out for your welfare, going to try to protect you at all costs. So that some bells and whistles should go off if someone is trying to separate you from your siblings, your parents. That's number one. Anti-woman goes without saying, because in many of these religious communities, they use the scriptures, and it could be the Quran, it could be anything, it could be the Bible, it could be any type, New Age, it doesn't matter. If someone is telling you that a woman is less than a man, and it is a woman's duty to serve her man, and a woman is relegated as a second-class citizen within that community and has less rights, it is inherently wrong. A woman should not have to stand behind her man, subjugate herself, cover her face, or anything like this to prove her righteousness, or to prove herself as a worthy citizen in that community or even outside the community. Anti-children, It said anti-children.
Yes, anti-child.
Anti-child goes right along with that. The community that we were in preached that the order of righteousness and the way that God came down was through the man, the woman, and the child. This is deceptively incorrect.
And it was called the preferred order.
This is deceptively incorrect because even a child can teach you something. You might have a child that is intelligent and has enough common sense to teach its parents some things. So this is something that you can take note of, that God lives and dwells in everything, and while the child is there to be raised and to be taught, that they should be respected as equally as a woman or a man in society, protected and cherished and loved equally. And no one is less than anyone else in the community. And anti-family, if someone is coming to you to tell you that your husband should have more than one wife, to break down the woman because the woman is the woman is Eve and she's sinful or wicked, and the man is the king and paramount, and or they're taking your child away from you and expelling them from the community. This is inherently wrong. And even in many of the Holy Scriptures throughout the great religions, there's nothing in those religions that teach you to take your child and throw them out in the street. And they take these scriptures and they like to interpret them in the way that is the most beneficial to them, from tithing all the way down to everything else.
I think I could sum it up by saying that cults are anti-woman, anti-child, and anti-family, and that is simply dehumanization.
Yes, exactly.
The 11th, thank you. The 11th cult characteristic that we want to watch out for. Cults are apocalyptic and believe themselves to be the remnant who will survive the soon approaching end of the world.
Oh boy.
The doomsday philosophy. Mm-hmm. The end of the world is coming and only we are going to be saved. Everybody else is doomed.
Right.
And that's what it is meant by apocalyptic. The apocalypse, as described in the Old Testament and Revelation in the Bible, goes into all of these terrible things that are going to happen in the end times. And we know that right now, this is December, I believe, the 11th. And that makes us 10 days away from the apocalyptic date of 12/21/12. But we are betting with the new ages and the new energy that says that the only thing that's going to happen on the 12th, on the 21st of this December, this 12th month of the year, is that more infusion of the Creator's energy is going to pour into this earth, and it is here for all of us to utilize. So if we're in a fear-based or if we're in a guilt-based process and system, we gotta be careful because it could be a cult.
Number 12. Many cults follow, and what is that?
An end justifies the means philosophy.
Okay, so basically, the rationale is, if we take your wife and beat her, or if we steal, or if we lie, or whatever it is that we do, it justifies what we're doing because the ends justify the means.
It's a result-based philosophy. As long as the results are what we want, it doesn't matter how we reach those results.
So have as many children as you can, because we keep those checks rolling in. And it's okay for you to commit a crime because we're the saviors of the world. Your parents don't listen to them because, take your mother's credit card or whatever it is that you need to do, because what we're doing is more important in saving the world, and nothing else really matters. So the ends definitely justify the means.
Right. We are divine, blessed, and wise, and everyone else is ignorant, uninformed, and wicked. So when you begin to hear people around you or anyone in what you consider leadership speak to you that way, be careful. This next point, number 13, it says that cults, particularly in regard to their finances, are shrouded in secrecy. Have we had a financial report lately from the community that we're talking about?
Complete non-transparency.
I think the word is opaqueness. Opaqueness. However, you know, it's a bit humorous, but it's not funny that that same person who has taken the hat as spiritual head, and has taken the hat as divine entertainment head, and has taken the hat as political head, and appoints all other forms of leadership, is also over and in charge of, and the last word on all matters financial. And in the meantime, his primary financial focus is on your finances, which he loves to bring into his coffers in the form of what he calls tithes, though tithe represents tenth. And I was told by one of his co-leaders that it could be a 25th or a 35th or a 45th or whatever the leader decided he needed to have. And so I said, well, just don't misuse the term tithe, because tithe means tenth. Of course, they told me I was an educated fool for even saying something like that.
Okay, so following the money trail often leads into an abyss. You can forget about trying to find out where all of those donations went and all of the money went, because generally it'll be in some Swiss bank account.
It's worse than the fiscal cliff, I can tell you that.
Okay, now here we are.
I think you're at number 14.
Number 14, the last characteristic is there is frequently an aura of potential for violence around cults. Now, I can't say that I personally experienced any of that, but I do know firsthand that there was a lot of chastisement. There was a lot of beatings and punishments that were justified, and by saying that this person was disobedient, and they needed to set an example of this person.
It was called correction, wasn't it?
Yeah. So if you found yourself in a situation where you're being punished, and you're being punished without knowing exactly why you're being punished, you don't have a jury of your peers, there is no tribunal, there is no system set up within in your community for you to be able to speak.
No due process.
Exactly. Where there's no due process, you might very well be in a cult. So I hope that these characteristics have helped you to determine if you're in a cult or not. There are thousands and thousands of cults out there. So please make it your business to be aware.
The more knowledge that you have, the more protection you'll be able to provide yourself from cult-like characteristics and cult-like behavior. Thank you for joining us.
And remember, even a smart person can be indoctrinated and brainwashed. Everybody, peace out.